Hey, we're going live one more time while everything is set up. Let's go live one more time. Share truth, Pausefunei. I'm your host, Pausefunei, aka Pastor Greer. Today, let's just talk about Mother's Day real quick. Mother's Day, as you know, is on Sunday. Alexander, you're making some of the most intrusive noises. Did you just fart on live in front of everybody, sir? Anyway, Mother's Day is on Sunday, and Mother's Day has been interesting for me the past couple of years because it's been very. I wasn't sure that I would be able to become a mother um, to a child that I was able to carry because I had trouble getting pregnant. As you all know, our story, we suffered from infertility. I have PCOS as well as endometriosis, and the PCOS was contributing to me not being able to get pregnant. So we went through fertility, assistance for Alonzo, and we were like, okay, well, everything worked perfectly the first time to the point where the doctors were like, well, dang, you got pregnant really quickly. That we were like, okay, so when it's time to have baby number two, we know exactly what to do. We'll go ahead and get the Overdrill shot, and then prayerfully everything will work out the same way it did before. How about in June of 2023, I get pregnant naturally, unexpectedly. When I tell you it was July 8th that I found out that I was pregnant, and leading up to that because it was a Saturday, that whole week I was feeling funny, but I did not put two and two together because here I am thinking, and this is just for the infertility girlies out there. Just because you're infertile during one stage of your life, that does not mean that you will be permanently infertile. Okay, I know what the doctor said. I know what the test said, but do not, especially if you have PCOS, because PCOS is a wild girl. If you have PCOS, do not assume that you are permanently infertile, especially if you did like I did, you get the Overdrill shot. That kind of reset my system because my egg reserve was 3 times the amount it should be for a woman my age. So I probably never ovulated, even though I was having a cycle every month. So just sidebar. Do not think that just because you're infertile today, that you're going to be infertile tomorrow. Don't play with God, okay? So, because mind you, we were thinking that I was infertile still, without medical assistance. So we were being marital, living our lives, and we didn't think anything of it. So when I started feeling funny that week, because my morning sickness presents as a flu, I get chills, body aches. What else was going on? Chills, body aches, nausea, fatigue. As though I have the flu. I was feeling bad that week, but I thought it was because I had just started with my infinity hoop and I was exercising. If you hadn't seen the video of me doing my infinity hoop review, it's quite the cackle because it was a learning curve, and it's up there on the shelf right now, and I'm going to pull it down and start using it again. But I had just used it because Cliff had gotten me that for my birthday. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm sore because I was using the infinity hoop the other day because I think I started using it on that Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm thinking, oh, that's why I'm sore. That Friday, the 7th, I had gone to donate plasma, and things were going a little slow, and they were like, girl, this is not good. So they ended up cutting the session short, and they made me drink a bottle of Gatorade before they let me leave because they were concerned that I was going to be lightheaded. So I drank the Gatorade, right? And on the way home, I had this strong desire for some shrimp. Mind you, I was vegan when Cliff and I met. I had been vegan from 2018 to a little before Cliff and I got married in 21. And then I was vegetarian. So I was playing with the idea of being pescatarian. I called Cliff and I said, I have a hankering for some shrimp. If I cook it and I decide I don't want to eat it, will you eat it? And he said, yeah. So I went and got the shrimp, whipped it up with some Old Bay, you know how we do, and ate one shrimp and had a bad vertigo attack. Now, the only time I've ever had vertigo is when I've been pregnant. Still didn't recognize the signs at all. So, as a matter of fact, wait a minute. I just realized that I did not publicize the live. So I'm literally sitting here talking to myself. Hold up. Let me change it. Why does it do that on StreamYard when you listen, edit audience? Yeah, public. Child, I was sitting up here talking to myself. Refresh. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're okay, we're live now. Anyway, I'm sure it went through on YouTube and Twitch, but on Facebook, no. Nobody knew I was live. Okay, so I went ahead and I was like, okay, this is a problem, having vertigo. Still didn't recognize the symptom. And that next night, the 8th, it was around 7:00 p.m. I said, you know what? I'm feeling a little funny. Let me go ahead and just take a test. I had taken a couple of tests back in March. Not March of this year, in case you're coming in late. March of 23. And they were both negative. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take it just to, And lo and behold, before I could even put the test down on the counter, the line was coming up because I was pregnant with this one right here. We were shocked. It took me a while, way longer to get it than Cliff did. Cliff immediately, when I told him, he immediately was like, okay, now we got to do this and we got to do that. Because when I handed him the test, he looked at it. He was like, is this recent? I'm like, is this recent? So I just had a pregnancy test laying around. No, this is recent. This is from night to night. I just took it a couple hours ago. And he was like, okay. And he was happy and everything and blah, blah, blah. I was still in shock. Days later, I started spotting. And, sometimes early in pregnancy, there are instances of spotting that doesn't mean anything is going on. But I knew that something was happening. I wasn't sure what was going on. And I tried to be calm about it and everything. But of course, I was worried. I was also cramping. So, of course, if you're pregnant, you're not supposed to be bleeding. And you're not supposed to be cramping. There is implantation bleeding. There is, a little discomfort that goes along with that. That's why a lot of women think that that's their period, but it's not. So, I end up bleeding really bad. So I told Cliff, I was like, we need to go to the ER. We go to the ER and I find out that I have a subchorionic hemorrhage. And a lot of times those hemorrhages just absorb back into the lining of the uterus. And a lot of times a woman doesn't even know that she has one. Well, in my case, the hemorrhage was literally right behind Alexander. He was literally sitting on it. So if, God forbid, the hemorrhage had ruptured, I would have miscarried. It was a Tuesday that we had gone to have the ultrasound. And I was going to have to go back. No, it was a Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday. I had an appointment. And then that next Thursday, I was supposed to go back for an ultrasound. And in that 2-day period, I could have miscarried. So for 48 hours, I literally lived my life not knowing if my child was alive or dead. And that was very traumatic. I actually recorded some videos during that time just in case, so that I could kind of go back to those feelings that I felt, as if I needed to, grieve or anything like that. Thankfully, that was not the case, but it was a very scary thing. I ended up having to go stay with mom and dad for almost a month down in Ocala because I needed to be on bed rest. And of course, I had Alonzo at the time and very active. He was like, what, 8 months old at the time. Very active, toddling around, doing all the stuff and all the things. And I couldn't lift him. We don't make him small. This baby is only 2 months old and he looks like he's 6 months old. So, I asked mom and dad if I could, we could come down, and they said, of course. And they came, dad came to get me, and I stayed down there for, almost the whole month of August. And it cleared up. I didn't have any more bleeding after maybe a day or so of being down there. They did everything that they needed to do to help me with Alonzo, and I was able to rest. And it was a beautiful thing. I thank God for my mother and father in love. They have treated me like they raised me, and I'm so grateful for that. So I cannot talk about what happened without talking about them, because if they hadn't helped me, Alexander wouldn't be here. So I'm grateful for the help that they gave, because we don't have help here. It's just the four of us here, So thank you, mom and dad, for saving your grandson's life, because if that hemorrhage had ruptured, we would have lost him. So very grateful. So this Mother's Day, excuse you, we're having an emotional moment here. You burping. So this Mother's Day is even more special because our miracle baby, our second miracle baby, our first miracle baby was a medical intervention, and our second miracle baby just popped up. God was just like, boom, here. So I'm very grateful for everything. All the prayers for everyone that knew during the time what was going on. Of course, we kept it quiet because we didn't know what was going to occur at the time. But everything worked out. Came back, and the rest is history. Y'all got to see the latter part of the pregnancy, and he's ready to nurse. That's why he's getting a little aggravated. But I had to tell the people. But let me tell you this real quick. I was talking to my mother earlier. Hey, mommy. I was talking to my mother earlier, and I told her that I apologize for being mad that she still sees me as a baby. And it's like once you have children, they're always going to. When Alexander is 35, married with kids, I'm still going to remember him like this. He's still going to be this little guy, this little big guy to me. And I was thinking about, because it's prom season, I was thinking about my boys and about how they're going to look in their suits and their tuxes when they go to their prom. And I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying about their prom? They hadn't even started school yet. But that's what we do as mothers, So shout out again to mommy. I love you. And happy Mother's Day. You say happy Mother's Day? You say happy Mother's Day to all the mamas? Oh, you open your eyes. Hey, you woke up right on time. You say happy Mother's Day to all the mommies. Yeah, from Alonzo and Alexander. Happy Mother's Day. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and feed him. I'm sure you don't want to see that. So let me go ahead and do that. But happy Mother's Day to y'all, and enjoy yourself. Don't just hang out in the house. Go take a walk. Go do something. Go sashay down the sidewalk in your sequins. Go do something. Go. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
We don't need permission to be who God called us to be. Go ahead and get it. We are permission